to let everyone know we are recording tonight, and we had a few people who weren't able to make it, and we want to make sure that they get a chance as well. Well, Jim, should we get started?
For sure.
Okay. Well, it's great to see such a full screen today. More people than I have screen space for. But anyway, thank you very much for joining Tracey, Jim, myself, and Marilyn, who have worked to put this last webinar together for our president-elects who are just on the cusp of beginning their year, and for their AGs who are there to support them. We have a sort of a blended evening for you. We're going to do a little bit with PowerPoint. Tracey's going to share some thoughts with you, and then we're going to do breakout rooms to give you a chance for some discussion and to give us some feedback to help us think about how we can support all of you as you're out in your clubs, and for the AGs as you're working with your clubs. So I'm going to just start quickly by sharing my screen, and let's just see if I'm doing that. Can you see my screen, Jim?
Not yet, Donna.
Not yet. Okay, hang on. Oh, here. Okay. All right.
There you go.
Yep. All right. How's that? Okay. I just have I'm just going to sort of go over our agenda tonight. I think I've already talked about that, so I'm not going to spend any more time on that slide. And it's not moving. And what we're hoping tonight, for all of us, when we all embarked on this journey at the beginning of last year, we thought we knew June would come, but we didn't think it was going to be this kind of June. And so we're really going to start. We're really going to look at, you know, what leadership is going to be like going forward, and really thinking about the context that we are living in right now. We want to spend some time giving you a chance to talk with Jim about the direction from RI and expectations for requirements for clubs. We want to talk about supports that are available to everyone. And then during the group discussions, we really want to get a chance to hear from you about what opportunities you're seeing as you go forward, and what challenges you're thinking about and you know that you'll be facing. And finally, as I mentioned before, we are really interested in hearing from you before we leave today about the kinds of supports that we could provide at the district level that will help you do your work. And now I'm going to turn it over to Tracey, who's going to give us our COVID update, I think.
Well, thank you so much, Donna. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome. It is absolutely a pleasure to see all of you join us this evening. And just by watching the names on the screens, I see we have membership from throughout our whole district. And each of you are aware that our district is 3 provinces and into two territories as well. So the geographical span of our district is immense. And they tell me it's like the 3rd largest in the Rotary world. You know, I have nothing to back that up, but I can share that we get told that's what it is. But what's even more important is that our district is so strong together. We're connected, we are humble in our work. Well, I share with you, it is an exciting time. You know, each of you that are with us tonight as president-elects, you are preparing to start your new Rotary journey. Now, I do recognize there are some members that are continuing to be president from this current year and moving in to 2020 and 2020, 2021 as president as well, and I thank you for that. And I say congratulations. Congratulations to each of you for stepping up, for bringing forward your care, your kindness, and your commitment to lead your clubs and your members through the next year. When you accepted to lead, though, through this year, you definitely weren't expecting to have one of these things happen, which is called a pandemic. Well, I can share with you this past year for myself, our team, and the clubs, as all of you know, it wasn't what we expected. We never planned for this. But I'm very honored to share. I'm so proud of our clubs, our members, and of our district. And in Rotary style, we took this situation of the pandemic and we engaged in discussions, planning, and brainstorming on ways that we can shift to still have strong clubs and do what we desire to do, which is support our communities and to serve. Just before the pandemic was declared, we at the district recognized that we were up for some challenges, and we pivoted into risk management strategy, and the intent was to support each of you. Our district is made up of 2,000 members, plus as well about 1,700 youth. And as you can imagine, everything turned at the district as it did at the club level. You in turn, though, shifted. At the club, each of you as Rotarians, as members, you shifted to do things differently. And part of that shift is our training, as we're doing at the district and as we're doing today. We've moved online to ensure that we still have a place for all of us to connect and all of us to learn and develop together. And our clubs as well moved online as a way for fellowship and also a way for service, because they're finding innovative opportunities to serve through as we venture through COVID. I have to say, I have seen more clubs open up their meetings and to be more inclusive being online, and it's really exciting to see. And I say that because I've seen fellow Rotarians that were prior members of Rotary, were members of Rotary prior, have come back. They've come back because they know that our Rotarian family cares and wants to stay connected with each other. So I as president-elects, I give you that as a little bit of a carrot for you. Think about who's left your club. How can you invite them to come back? Because online right now is an easy and an excellent opportunity for connection. But I will share with you one of my concerns. And as we have faced COVID, we've all been placed into this physical isolation. We've started to see things open up slightly. In Alberta, we're at phase 2. But we cannot forget the importance of connection, real connection. And I boldly say, a text, an email, or a Facebook post is not a real connection. There is so much power when you make a call and you hear someone's voice on the phone. When you call to say, I miss you, and we're having a Rotary meeting, come and join us. Or when you call to say, are you okay? Can we bring you anything? Can we support you? I ask you as president-elects to ensure you set up systems within your clubs to connect with your members directly. Engage your executive, engage your board, engage others in your club to call. Because we know the challenges that we could face as individuals if we're not connected to each other. So make those calls, invite people to find out how they're doing, to open up to you, and as well invite them to your meetings. Now I also share is that we're seeing some really innovative opportunities in service. So invite them, find out what's important to them and ask them how they can be part of what you're venturing on. Or maybe they have an idea that could come forward and you could venture on. And so when I say that, I say be nimble. Be nimble with your members, be nimble with your meetings, and nimble to ensure that you care and show that care. Because every one of us is facing this challenge. And when we don't have that opportunity to meet, we could also have some challenges in regards to our mental health that affect each of us. We do ask that you follow all of the COVID government requirements. I've had many of the clubs and the area governors reach out asking for information around when can we meet, how do we meet, We are all bound by the government requirements. And on the district website page, we have a great spot that's been selected and named COVID. And on that area, if you go into that COVID area, you'll be able to pull up all the information around what the government requirements are. It is really important you stay in touch with those requirements from both your province and or your territory, plus also the federal requirements. We don't want to put anyone at risk. We also ask as well, as you venture forward and explore innovative opportunities for service and connections, please ensure you touch base with the insurance company. Now, all of you have access to the insurance area, which is on our website. And if you go into the front page of our website, you'll see a club and members area. When you do the drop down there, you'll find all the insurance information. You do need your club runner sign in to access this information. In addition, the vulnerable checks as well. As we've recognized, I'm not familiar right today if the RCMP and the police stations have opened yet, but the vulnerable checks have been stopped. We do ask that you ensure you connect with the district to find out if your members still are, at this time, have their vulnerable checks, if they're still valid, or if not. It's an important part as we continue to move into service within our communities. And one last thing, as you're operating on a risk management strategy, as you move into president, you become the chair of your board and you run your district, or pardon me, your club. One of the things that's important is you review your bylaws to ensure you have an understanding of your legal requirements as well. We have had clubs that have mentioned that they didn't have the opportunity to meet online. So those are some of the things you need to watch for, and also as well ensure that you're recording all of your motions, etc., and come back following once we're in person to person and be able to ratify all the decisions you've made when you were online. So, as I mentioned earlier, I am so proud of our clubs and our members. Over this past year, I have witnessed immense passion, service, and dedication. Dedication to change, dedication to serve. Truly, this is the best time to be a Rotarian, even as we venture through and work through a pandemic. Why do I say that? Is because our communities believe in us, they trust us, and they know that as they move through this pandemic, we are there to serve them. We are there to support them. So I say to you, as you move forward, be proud, be very proud that you are stepping forward as president of your club and that you are going to help our communities as we move from the emergency aspect to recovery and to rebuilding. Now, we don't know what those timelines are going to be. None of us have a crystal ball at this time. And we continue to experience other world changes, including racism and other challenges. So it's even more important now that we reflect on our clubs and we reflect on the best ways we can serve, but also our culture within our clubs. The culture of inclusion, culture of acceptance. Again, why would we do that? Because we're Rotarians and it's the best time to be a Rotarian, and because our communities trust us and our communities want to ensure that we're going to be there for them. So this evening I've joined you just for the opening, and as I close, I want to remind you that you are traveling this amazing journey together. We are all taking steps together. We're walking side by side. And I'm excited for all of you that you have the opportunity to walk side by side with District Governor Jim and the district board and each other, and all the wonderful area governors that are with you as well. So I am going to step off the call tonight, and I am available to anyone for further questions or conversations. But as you get prepared tonight, enjoy tonight's time together, enjoy the fellowship, and enjoy that you're preparing to step into one of the most amazing roles you could ever play, and that's being president of your Rotary Club. So Jim, I'm going to turn it over to you, and as I close, I say to each of you, from my heart to you, thank you for your care, thank you for your guidance, and I'm honored to serve with each of you. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Tracey. I just want to, before Jim starts, I just want to let people know that we're going to have an opportunity for questions after Jim does his presentation. So if you do have questions that come to you as you're listening to Tracey or with Jim, please put your questions in the chat and we'll take a break and go through those. Anyway, Tracey, thank you so much.
Thank you, Donna. Have a beautiful evening and enjoy.
Thank you.
Okay, all the best, everyone.
So welcome everybody to today's session. Today I will share a message from our Rotary International President, Holger Knack. So Jocelyn and I have had the pleasure of meeting RI President Holger Knack and his wife Suzanne on a few occasions. They both attended the Rotary Zones 28 and 32 in Niagara Falls, Ontario in the fall of 2019. They're both as down-to-earth and friendly as anybody we've ever met before. Super nice and very warm, welcoming people. And Holger wants me to share the following 4 key messages to you, the incoming presidents of your club. Help our district expand its reach. Contact the new District 5370 Rotaract Council if you see an opportunity in your area. Both Interactors and Rotaractors are dynamic leaders and will be the future of Rotary. Both Interact and Rotaract members decide how to organize and run their clubs, manage their own funds, and plan and carry out activities and service projects. Rotary clubs offer guidance and support and work with them as partners in service. Some new developments in Rotaract that you should know about as club president. In the Rotary Council of Legislation in 2019, and effective on July the 1st, the upper age limit in Rotaract was eliminated. So no longer is the age limit 18 to 30 years of age. The Rotaract clubs can set their own age limit if they wish to. It's completely up to them. This will hopefully lead to former Rotaractors who were pushed out because of their age coming back to their clubs. As Elise Lin, a member of the Rotaract Club of Taipei Tin Harbor in Taiwan, and a member of the Rotary Task Force, has said, the age limit was an obstacle for Rotaract members who wanted to stay involved with Rotary but either didn't feel ready for a traditional Rotary club or found the expense of joining one out of reach. Once those members leave, it's very hard to get them back into the Rotary family. Although some Rotaract alumni continue to participate in Rotaract events, they no longer feel like a true part of the organization. With the rules change, she predicts some recent alumni will rejoin Rotaract. Other changes that are happening on July the 1st, new Rotaract clubs won't have to rely on a Rotary club to sponsor them. They can now sponsor themselves or choose another Rotaract club as their sponsor. Rotaractors are now eligible to serve alongside Rotarians on district and RI committees. Rotaract clubs will also gain more support from Rotary International, including access to administrative tools in My Rotary and the option to subscribe to the digital edition of the Rotarian magazine. The trustees of the Rotary Foundation also plan to discuss whether Rotaract clubs should be eligible to apply for foundation grants. In 2022, annual dues of $5 per person for university-based Rotaract clubs and $8 for community-based clubs will be introduced. Why is this information important to you as club president? The crossover rate from Rotaract clubs to traditional Rotary clubs is less than 5%. And in North America, the population is getting older, but in other areas of the world, such as Africa, much of the population is below the age of 30. So if Rotary remained the way it was, it would be a completely irrelevant organization. Holger also said, every club should hold at least one strategic planning session each year at which you ask, what should our club be like in 5 years, and what steps should we take to achieve those goals? Also, what value do we bring our members? Our district held a strategic planning session in March, the last in-person event held for us before stopping because of the pandemic. We modeled our goals to our district to follow the action plan of Rotary International. Here's RI's action plan for our clubs. Priority 1, increase our impact. People of action are effective problem solvers. Let's seek out new ways to translate our expertise into making a difference in our communities and across the globe. Let's prove that our impact on the world has only just begun. Priority 2, expand our reach. People of action activate and inspire one another. Let's build connections and opportunities that will allow people who share our drive to do the same. Priority 3, enhance participant engagement. People of action strive to understand the needs of others. Let's recommit to putting the needs, expectations, and growth of our participants at the center of all that we do. And priority 4, increase our ability to adapt. People of action are inventive, entrepreneurial, and resilient. We're ready to seek out fresh opportunities, create more paths to leadership, open up our conversation to diverse voices, and simplify how we operate with confidence. Let's stay true to ourselves and stay ahead of change in the next 115 years. One of the most important things clubs can do to support the action plan is to develop their own strategic plan that aligns to and reflects the priorities and objectives of the new strategy. Research shows us that clubs with strategic plans are more successful in engaging their members. You can utilize the strategic planning guide available on My Rotary to assist you with the process. Select new members carefully. Engage them and take care of them. There is no wrong age to be a Rotarian. In our E-Club, we've had so many members come and go, and now we're trying to be more flexible with our membership. We've added an associate membership level to our club, as we've had people who are either full-time, long-time members of a different Rotary Club, or who don't have the time to commit to being a full-time member of a club, but they're interested and want to help out. It offers much more flexibility for membership. Continue your club's efforts to end polio. So continue your club's efforts to end polio by donating to End Polio Now and by hosting a World Polio Day event in October. We must fulfill the promise that we made to the children of this world. In this day and age, with the renewed realization that vaccines work and can stop terrible health outcomes, we must renew our focus on eradicating polio and saving the children of the world. This is Rotary's focus, and we are so close, so let's finish it. By now, you've received notice that our Vision 2020 committee has pivoted and is working on a free online event that would happen on September the 12th of 2020. In March, when the government of Alberta started putting limits on gathering size for conferences because of COVID-19, it was apparent that putting on an in-person event for 400 people wasn't at all feasible. District Governor Tracey and I approached the Doubletree Hotel about canceling our contract, and they agreed with us. They're a first-class business to deal with. Now we're working on creating a virtual event that you'll not want to miss. Make sure you follow the posts on Facebook for ongoing information. I also want to talk about the 2020 to 2021 Rotary citation. In an email from Julia Donahue from Rotary International, it will be easier than ever for Rotary clubs to set and report goals for the Rotary citation. Previously, clubs had to achieve specific goals which changed every year and report them in various online Rotary tools. While a few of the goals are data generated, such as membership numbers and Rotary Foundation giving, most of them you can report by marking achieved in Rotary Club Central. The changes not only simplify the process of setting and reporting goals, but they also make long-term progress easier to track because the goals remain the same from year to year. The Rotary citation is very easy to achieve. Club presidents just pick 13 goals of the 25 goals listed in Rotary Club Central. And of note, the goals can be entered now in Rotary Club Central. Marilyn or your AG can give more details on the citation goal setting. Remember, the citation is only available in Rotary Club Central. Clubs will have the whole year to achieve their goals that were entered, and the clubs must be in good standing. For Rotaract and Interact clubs, the citation will also be online and customized for their clubs. So the doors are opening for Rotaract, Interact, and Rotary clubs and their members. Let's strengthen our clubs by increasing flexibility in membership and encourage new ideas and service. There's a few other things that I wanted to bring up while you're here. As we look at this year's logo, can you as club president notify Deneen as to whether your clubs want the new logo pins? I initially ordered just a few of the pins, not knowing if the clubs wanted them. Please contact Deneen if you're interested, and we'll reorder after July the 1st according to club membership numbers. Also, don't forget about the Rotary International Virtual Convention to be held on June the 20th to the 26th. So we're beginning our Rotary journey with a dynamic Rotary International president who's not afraid of questioning the status quo in Rotary, and the opportunities are limitless for all of us. Thanks for attending today, and good luck with your clubs. Over to you, Marilyn and Donna.
Thanks, Jim. You've probably received a message today that included a listing of the schedule of District Governor Jim's visits to your club. They are being finalized, so do make sure you have a chance to take a look at them, and we'll discuss the schedule a little bit more later. But the most important thing is, why do you have the district governor visit your club? Every club, if they're not doing a strategic plan, they have the district governor there to remind them about what's important in your year and to help you, most importantly, to help you with any of your challenges, and to also spread the word about your successes. Other clubs would learn a lot from your successes that you're achieving in your club. Think about the projects, the impact that you're making in your communities, the innovative things that you're doing, whether it be around your meetings or your fundraisers. And that is what Jim is going to be doing when he goes around to all of his visits, virtually, of course, to be able to gather all that information and spread it through the newsletter, the blog, and with your club members. And this is an opportunity for them to be able to hear that message. He's also going to be meeting with your executive, and that will be prior to the club visit, to have a very intimate discussion about what issues that you're facing as a club and what you're looking forward to in the next 5 years, and how the rest of the district can help you achieve those goals and to make whatever changes you might need, or to continue on the great path that you're already on. You are going to have the support of your AG, your assistant governor, to prepare for that meeting. What that will mean is that they will be asking you to prepare in advance to have those successes and challenges summarized. We don't want a lengthy document, just a summary of what your successes and challenges are, and that we can send that in advance to Jim. We want to help you encourage all your members to attend so that they can hear the message. Again, it's virtual, so it's going to be a lot easier for them to just log on. And for them to hear the message from Jim, but also to hear information that he's going to be spreading as he gathers for all the data and success stories from the other clubs. If you need any assistance in advance of that meeting, reach out to your assistant governors. Most of them are on the call today. Hopefully you've already spoken to your assistant governor prior to today. And likewise, if you still need help with putting your goals into Rotary Club Central, because that's the other thing that we'll be doing during that meeting, is reviewing what you have put in for your club for your goals on all areas: membership, foundation, your service projects, your youth leaders, and all the citation, and see how your progress is going throughout the year. And as I mentioned, the district leaders and your assistant governors are there to help you with goal setting, with achieving those goals, working with your other leaders, developing your leaders in your own club. And another way that I'm going to put another plug in here is how to develop your leaders. First of all, you can set up a buddy system with the previous leader in that executive role. And because of course everything is online, you can have role specific training on the Learning Center. So if you have questions on that, please let me know. The last point on here is the schedule. We're not going to discuss it in detail, but do take a look at that schedule. There might be a few tweaks to that, but generally speaking, this is the schedule that will be going forward starting in July. And because there's no travel involved, we are hopefully aggregating a few more meetings earlier in the year, but we are adding all of the Rotaract clubs as well to this schedule so that you're aware of that as well.
Oops. Thanks, Marilyn. Jim, can you unmute me? I'm somehow lost my cursor here.
You are unmuted.
I am. Good. Thanks, John. I can't. Okay, here we go. Just a minute. I'm going to have to get my tech support from the other room here.
This is a good time for people to start putting in questions. If you have questions about the district governor visit, if you have questions about goals or anything else, those down.
Well, we're going to take some questions. Marilyn, can you and Jim see the chat? I'm just wondering if there are any questions in the chat. I just want to stop.
There are a couple of questions here. One question is, who do we contact for the pins? That's coming up in a couple of places. Contact Deneen at the district office, and she's going to keep track of all the clubs and how many pins. Pardon me?
Sorry, that was me telling my dog not to bother me now.
Oh.
Okay.
You're not unmuted, John.
Yeah, I will be as soon as I get my cursor straightened around.
Yeah, well, that's what happened to me too.
Anyway, so to send if your club members would like a 2020-2021 Rotary International theme pin, let Deneen know at the district office and she'll be tracking that order. And I see Tim has already put the email there. Thank you so much, Tim. There was another question here about associate members, but if we're ready to roll with the rest of the agenda, we can answer that question later.
No, you can take it now. We've got time.
Okay. Associate memberships is another question here about the visits being virtual. Let me just answer that one first because we're talking about schedule here as well. I understand that we are going to assume all visits by District Governor Jim will be virtual. Our schedule is designed that way. So if things change in the fall, and this is a question from Brian Edwards, that they're hoping to meet in person in September, and will that enable the district governor visit to be in person? I think we're safe to say that we're not going to encourage in-person meetings. So even if
No, that's true, Marilyn. Excuse me. So we're going to do all the required club visits will be online, and that's how the schedule is. As we go farther into the year, if there's Rotary events at clubs, we'll see how things progress. But the schedule will be virtual.
So I'm going to take this question and go take it sideways now. Let's say that a club has the capacity based on their numbers or whatever else to meet in person. You will be dialing into them regardless, even if they're meeting in person.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Another question that was posed is about associate membership. What is associate membership? We have some people probably on this line that are part of clubs that have associate membership, so I might want to let them speak to that. Who would like to speak to that? I can, but I'm sure there's somebody here that has experience with that. If nobody speaks up, then associate membership is one that has reduced fees and less restrictions in terms of, or less commitment with respect to attendance. They can participate in all projects. They are a Rotarian. They may be having other limitations. They're a young professional, whatever the case might be. Some clubs may have different rules around it, and they would perhaps be able to attend 1 meeting a month or 2 meetings a month, depending on the club. Every club is a little different as to what their structure is. There's some clubs that only meet twice a month. So if anybody else wants to chime in on associate memberships, Jim, you have.
Yeah, I can expand a little bit more on that. Our E-Club has associate members as well. And as I was saying during the presentation, that we have some members that want to help out in the E-Club. One of them is Kitty Butchko, and she works on the weekly meetings all the time, but she's a longtime member of a Rotary Club in Ontario. So we have an associate membership set up so that she is a member for a much reduced price. She can help out. She's actually on the board as well. So it's just a way to offer flexibility for people that are interested in being part of your club, but they don't really want to leave the home club.
There's a question here from Lou in Camrose, whether the RI and district dues are the same for associate members. And my understanding is yes. Jim, can you confirm that?
Well, actually, what we do is in our club is they pay the RI dues, they pay the district dues, and it's just a small amount for membership, like next to nothing.
There was a question too, Jim, about the name tags with the theme on them. And I think Graham's has volunteered to take on that responsibility.
We have a poll set up, Donna,
Okay.
if you can launch it.
Okay. Can you launch it?
No, I can't.
Oh, oh yeah, here it is. Okay. One. I can see it, but I can't see the question. Oh, all right, let's see. I don't know where the question is, Jim, because I'm trying to launch it and it won't let me.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll just leave it.
Yeah, I'll fiddle around with it over here.
Yeah, we'll send something out. Okay. Right, Marilyn, have you got, is that most of the questions?
I'm answering some individually because they're specific on scheduling.
Okay,
things.
perfect. Yeah, okay, great. So I think we'll go back now to the next part of the presentation. Some of these things have been covered, and we'll go through them quickly and then get into our group. So I just wanted to just remind people, and some of you are very familiar with Club Runner, which is one of the key resources that we use in the district, both at the district level and at your clubs for organization. But what we understand is that there are a range of abilities with a Club Runner, and I know in working with Marilyn, I've learned that Club Runner can do a lot more than I thought it could do. So I just want to let you know from the learning and development perspective that we are going to be looking at training for people in Club Runner. But at the current time, club presidents and AGs, can you please ensure that your executive and your members have their information up to date in Club Runner? Because it's one of the key ways that we reach out to contact people. And so, and every once in a while we discover somebody that we need to get in touch with we have no information on. So it's really, that's really an important piece. And as we do the changeover for into the next Rotary year, club presidents, either you or your secretaries can enter that information in so that it's up to date. We've spoken about the importance of Rotary.org, and if you can make sure that you are registered in Rotary.org and have your account set up and all of your executive. And here's another place where we've recently been thinking we should put together some training, so a little package so that we can get every Rotarian in the district registered on Rotary.org, because it's a key point of information, a source of information.
Donna,
yeah, sure, you go right ahead.
It's not registered on Rotary.org because anybody, external, internal, whatever, can get onto Rotary.org. It's My Rotary.
My Rotary. Okay, thank you. Yeah. I want to talk again about the Learning Center. When we shifted from the face-to-face delivery to the online delivery for learning and development courses, part of that was to outline specific courses and modules that are there for assistant governors and president-elects and other club leadership level staff. There is a huge amount of information there. We get reports, and the Learning Center is being used more and more by Rotarians in our district, but there's still a fair number of people who haven't gone there yet. And just to remind you, if you can help your executive in particular, make sure they reach out and go through those courses. I think it'll be good for them, and it'll certainly help in your club leadership. I think Jim talked about the importance of having your goals up to date at Rotary Club Central, because that's a key requirement for you as a club leader. The last thing I wanted to mention, that we're really fortunate this year, in a year where we have to do so much online. We have a district governor who has lots of experience with online clubs and how to make them work. So I would just encourage you, if you're looking for advice or an online experience that will add to your Zoom meetings, that to join Jim's club. They just have a fantastic setup there, and Jim's got all kinds of good ideas, and his club has all kinds of good ideas of how you can do distributed service projects. It's just a great resource for us as a district. Tracey's already talked about this, just the importance of risk management right now. So I'm not going to belabor this because it's already been talked about. So I had heard this quote in many different ways, but this one that I found was the way JFK talked about the situation I think that we find ourselves in, and that is, you know, that we are living through a crisis, and crisis has presents dangers, but it also creates opportunities for us to make changes, and certainly our district has done that as we've pivoted, as everyone uses that word, to staying connected online. But I think, as Tracey said, this is the best time to be a leader, and it certainly is an interesting time to be a leader. So, but when you lead at a time of significant change, you're facing some challenges, and things are going to be different in your club. And we wanted to give you an opportunity to chat with your colleagues, other club leaders, and your AGs. And what we're interested in giving you some time, to talk about, let's just hang on a second. I'm just going to skip this. Is what challenges and opportunities you're foreseeing in your club as you go into your year as president. How have you addressed them, or how are you planning to address them? And we're particularly interested in, as you come out of this discussion, getting an idea from you of how we can support you from the district level. One of the things I think that we understand about leadership is nobody from the outside can fix your problems for you. The context of each of these situations is so unique that you have to work through these things. We don't have answers for you, but we are a group of people who want to support you, and particularly I just wanted to highlight the role of the AGs. AGs will be next to the club president, probably very close, know your club the best in the district. And we're really encouraging you to build a relationship early, form a team, and so you have someone as a club president that understands your club, who you can phone up and they can be a listening ear, understand the context that you're working in. AGs have all been club presidents, so they've already got their feet wet. They know, they're familiar with other clubs because they all have responsibility for more than one club, so they'll have multiple perspectives to share with you. And they can save you a lot of time rather than you sorting around to find resources to answer questions. A quick call to your AG. They might already know how to get you to a resource. They may know an answer to your question, or they can take on the load of finding out an answer for you and save you some time so you can stay focused on your work in your club. So now I just want to give you, the club presidents and the AGs, a chance to spend about 15 minutes together talking about, you will be in groups. They'll be larger than just you and your AGs, but we have tried to pair up the AGs and the club presidents together to the best of our ability. There may be some things which, if people registered late, we might not have all the matches perfect. But so we're interested in hearing about challenges and opportunities, a little sharing time, some ideas for addressing those, and what supports. So I am going to try and get you into your breakout groups. I'm going to stop sharing and put you into your breakout groups now. You will, for those of you who haven't been in great breakout groups before, you just arrive there, and we'll watch the time. And when the time is up, we'll just send you a notice, and you'll come back here. And we can spend the last few minutes just hearing your feedback in terms of what supports would be helpful for you. So here we go.
It's a very cool experience going
Yeah.
into breakout room.
Okay.
If it works.
Yeah, if it takes a minute, and Jim, we're gonna have to assign some people, because I think we've got a bunch of people that aren't assigned, so I'm gonna do that. But it's just going to be random. Okay, I think we are mostly back. Looks like a lot of smiling faces there. I moved from room to room, and there's really great discussion in every room, and I think we should spend more time doing these kinds of things, because I think you have lots to learn and share with each other. So I hope in that last minute or so you didn't have too much of a fight deciding who was going to be the person who would share the highlights from your group. But I think it's nice to have just a little bit of cross-pollination. And so I'm not sure who it is, but could we just hear a little bit from the people that were in breakout room 1?
Yeah, in group 1, we had a really good discussion about some of the challenges around membership retention and fundraising, given the current situation we're in with large group gatherings being a challenge. There was good communication around really engaging with our members around why they are in Rotary, what it means to them, and using this time where we are a smaller group to get back to the basics in some sense. We have often evolved into a fundraising vehicle for individual organizations where that's not what Rotary is. We are an entity that in and of ourselves can drive change in our communities. So I think that using the next few months in smaller groups to really get back to the origins of what Rotary is and what it means to the members who come, pay their dues, come to the weekly meetings. There should be engagement on our part to the members, especially the long-term members, why they're still involved in Rotary, what it means to them. One example from a club is a survey. They went out, what are the areas of focus for you? What is important to you? And so the encouragement from our group, I think, would be to re-engage with your members, the long-term ones, but even the new members. What did Rotary mean to you? There was sharing about a communications plan, sharing with presidents who will actually encourage members, what does your Rotary Club in your area of influence mean? So that the message going out is similar. We often dilute our message because we incorporate too much personal into it. There should be 2 avenues of communication. What does Rotary mean in your community? And then a second line of communication, why are you involved in that work? So that the messaging is similar from everyone, but then unique and important for an individual's perspective of why they're involved in that work. So I think we have a unique opportunity as new presidents in the next few months to look at our clubs, get back to the basics, develop a plans for a unified message to the community that you serve. Who is Rotary and why are you there?
Thank you very much. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Group 2, breakout room 2, I guess. Okay.
Hi.
And yeah.
So some of the topics that came up in group 2 conversation was keeping things interesting and engaging for members, meetings in particular, when you're meeting on Zoom or maybe transitioning into in-person. I think there was some conversation about having members having differing feelings about coming back to an in-person meeting versus remaining online, and how do you manage that expectation among your diverse group. We had one group who had already had an in-person meeting, so I think that's fantastic, and I know that for others that would create anxiety, and so you know, how do we deal with that? One of the other conversations was obviously membership retention. You lose, you know, a handful of members, and how do you get people back, or how do you maintain the members that you have? And I think one of our speakers had talked about going down Main Street. If you live in a small town, you go down Main Street and you take your pamphlets and you talk to all the business owners, which I think, again, that in-person interaction is really wise and, you know, sage advice. How to run a successful meeting in sort of an online platform. For me in particular, I had sort of suggested that having members understand fundraising in this model, when you can't do your in-person, maybe larger fundraising event that you have to start having members maybe fundraise a little bit more in incremental ways, where we're not going to get the large donors coming to these events and providing us with those funds. And so I think for our membership, asking for money has been a hurdle, and somehow we have to find success in that and make sure that the incremental successes are celebrated in that way. Thanks.
Thank you. Did you, in your group, did you talk about, because probably sometime over the year there, you are going to go, you know, more clubs are going to be going back into face-to-face meetings, and there's going to be a range of comfort levels. Did your group talk about how they might think about addressing that?
Well, I think one group from Drayton Valley is going to do a hybrid. So if you're, if you want to come together, then let's come together and share a meal. And then those who don't can join via Zoom. And so I think if you can set that up in the place that you're at, that would be ideal, right? The last thing you want to do is start making people uncomfortable one way or the other. And so, you know.
Yeah. Did your group talk about any supports that would help you from the district? Did you get that far in the conversation or not?
I don't think we did, but I welcome any of the other members to share.
Okay.
Thanks.
Well, we can always too, if those things came up, put them in the chat, because we will we'll follow up with the chat too. Okay, thank you. Breakout room 3. Who's sharing from breakout room 3?
We didn't have time to designate someone, Donna. It's Nadine from Grand
Oh, okay, Nadine. But you're volunteering. That's fabulous.
I'll volunteer. So, I mean, I'm sure lots of the breakout rooms had similar conversations. A lot of what you guys were already saying, we talked about. So one club talked about that they're meeting with members virtually and just talking, really focusing on project ideas, because that obviously needs to shift for most of us. What we can do for service is different right now. It doesn't mean we can't do service, it's just going to look different. And so, you know, putting our heads together as members, looking for new project ideas. We also talked about maintaining that virtual option. We're seeing that same kind of a hybrid as we have a club that's starting meetings this week in Grand Prairie and doing it that virtual, or the hybrid, right, of virtual and in person. Taking care of the cost factor as well, right, of meeting in person for meals. As well as taking care of that, you know, anxiety, safety part as well. We talked about the opportunity to share presenters, because that is a huge opportunity right now. Maybe even the suggestion of once a month, having a big presenter from the district, or I mean even bigger, and then directing us even bigger, right? It doesn't have to be our district; it could be a global presenter, and then directing us to the district calendar for now, so that we can at least see what's coming up for meetings and speakers for all of us. And then lastly, we just talked about making sure we take care of ourselves, that we are volunteers, and that not to feel like we need to shoulder all of the stress, because we all still have our own lives going on with hardworking and family and everything else. And it's not just a difficult time for others, it can be for us as well. And so to really lean on each other. And we have a group in Grand Prairie. There's, we think for the first time ever, 5 women presidents. So we've coined ourselves the Fab Five, and we actually connect fairly often. And I mean, having that connection with other Rotary clubs as well and other leaders, let's really lean on each other and take care of ourselves so that we can do the best job that we can for our clubs.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a nice idea about that. I think getting the bigger presenters in is a huge opportunity for us. So thank you for volunteering. Okay, breakout room 4.
Hi, Donna. I guess I've voluntold myself. We were trying to get through all the speakers and we didn't get to share. We had awesome sharing and very diverse challenges and ideas. Many focused on the issue of member retention, especially when they can't have the fellowship, which is so important in a club. And we shared some ideas of virtual cocktail hours, and that may not work for some of the more senior members, and so they're missing fellowship, and so some members are not renewing because that's a big component of why they're there. Another valuable message that I heard is about member engagement, but not just member engagement in terms of doing projects, but member involvement in making changes and the decisions that the clubs might need to make right now in terms of a change of direction. And it was mentioned that when clubs had member involvement in choosing what changes they might want to make in the club, as opposed to it being board centric and then just being told to the rest of the members what they're going to do, it found that it changed the dynamic of the club. And so we had a discussion around a number of people here about assemblies. How often do they do assemblies? What's the format of assemblies in terms of keeping members informed? That also touched on strategic planning, as well as, and some clubs are already looking to do some things in person, picnics, for example, with the physical distancing, but to have that opportunity, at least for a short while, to have some in-person contact. And I think that may be valuable for those that are comfortable to try and entertain that as well. I'll just keep it at that. There was a lot of very vibrant discussion about ways to communicate and use of websites and the like.
Okay, thank you. Yep, each group, the discussion just seemed to be fabulous when I went from group to group. So thank you all for sharing and participating. I'm sure that you each got a good benefit from that. Jim, we're at the end, and I just wondered if you wanted to say a few words before we let people head off
Sure.
for the rest of their evening.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank everybody for taking time out of your busy lives and being able to meet tonight. And I'd like to thank Marilyn and Donna and Tracey for helping out with tonight's meeting. One thing I'd like to remind everybody is we have AGs in place, assistant governors. If you have any issues, please reach out to your assistant governor. They're there in a support role. And I just wanted to mention one thing. I was on a meeting, I guess about 2 weeks ago, and Barry Rasen was there. And what he said made absolutely perfect sense. He said, the Rotary clubs, individual Rotary clubs, are doing the work of Rotary. And our role as a district is to support you. So good luck with your clubs. Stay safe, and I'm looking forward to seeing you virtually down the road. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Okay, Terry, before everybody leaves, I see you have your granddaughter there. So I just want to leave everybody with a quote, and maybe she'll tell me if I got it right, because it comes from Frozen 2. And so I think it's, I'm not sure whether it's Anna or Elsa, so maybe she'll know, but the idea of leadership as doing the next right thing. And so I don't know if it is a quote. Anyway, I just thought that you know, we don't have all the answers, but I think in the discussion tonight, people know, you know, how to take the next step, and that's how we get to the end that we want, is just the next right thing. So thank you all again for participating, and we'll see you probably at the next one of these events. Have a great summer. Take care.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank
good
you.
night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.